Hey, this is Michael from Brainy Face Project, and this video is going to talk about a new experimental mode released by Google on Wednesday of this week, March 5th, and it's called AI mode. It's a game changer in terms of how people search, but you probably don't have access to it because it's an experimental feature that's just now rolling out to only selected users who are subscribed to their Gemini program. It's a subscription-based service for their large language model. And also you have to go into Google Labs, and as part of their experiments, you have to request access. So I got my invitation late Wednesday evening, and I was playing around with it a little bit yesterday. So I'm going to jump in here at the end of the video and do a quick demo. I wanted to talk about a couple of the key points that lead up to this whole reason why Google's doing this. In 1998, Google was founded. They started out in a garage out in California, so pretty crazy to see the company starting out in a garage. And then in 2004, they came out with Gmail. It was released on April 1st, which was April Fool's Day. So I remember thinking that it was a joke, but it was revolutionary. It changed the way that people actually gained access to email and allowed them to search for their content, which was way easier than other email clients before that. Google bought YouTube back in 2006 for $1.65 billion. And as of last year, it was valued at just under $500 billion, $455 billion. So YouTube was a really good acquisition. Kudos to whomever decided to buy that. I love YouTube. You love YouTube. Here we are. And then in 2022, Google declared a code red, which was in response to ChatGPT because it was changing the way people gained access to information. You could just ask the large language model for information. You didn't need to actually go out and search for it. And then Google's response was in 2023, they relaunched something that they had called Gemini before, but they came up with their own large language model, and that was released in December of 2023. So lots of capabilities there. I might do a video on that later. And then this was an article back in 2024 in February by The Information where it talked about this new AI mode and basically said that it's coming. And so we finally got that. But in between, in 2024, there was this thing called AI Overview, which really made a lot of mistakes. This is boardpanda.com, and I was looking at if you asked it for fruits that end with it was applum, bananum, strawberrum, tomatum, coconut, not even coconutum. And then other questions that people were asking were like, how many rocks should I eat? And it was actually coming back and saying you should at least eat one small rock per day, that they're good for your digestion and your health. Maybe if you're a bird, but not as a human being, that's probably not very smart to be eating rocks. What do you have to do to be a saint? Die, wait at least 5 years. It's that easy. Crazy information. What about cleaning a rescued pigeon? And it says that they're usually clean, even the wild ones, but then it says remove the label, remove the head, and this was not good data that they were providing to people. What about your cheese not sticking to pizza? And the AI overview, as it curated things, would come back and say just add 1/8 of a cup of non-toxic glue to give it more tackiness. I guess that would make it stick, but it probably wouldn't be very tasty, and it would be bad for your gut biome. How tall is this leader? And it said that he was over 2,716 feet tall, 160 stories tall, and he wasn't even the tallest dude there. What about can a cat play in the NBA? Said some say that cats might not be effective NBA players as they may break the rules and play unsound basketball. I'm laughing now, but like this stuff, gasoline to cook spaghetti, it says you can't use gasoline, but it does make recommendations for you to actually go in and you can add diced tomatoes, red pepper flakes, and you can then toss the cooked spaghetti in the gasoline sauce. So we'll cover this in a second here, but I don't even know if these were legit screenshots, but worrisome stuff. And so Google came back, one of their executive VPs replied to it. rightfully so, and acknowledge the fact that the AI overview wasn't working as well. So instead of just giving you the search results like you've been accustomed to forever since Google first started, is they would actually curate the results and they'd try to provide a summary for you, and that's when things went off the rails and got really weird. So people were posting those stories, and some of them were probably fake screenshots, but the story still sticks, is the fact that this was dangerous stuff and they needed to kind of pull it back, reel it back, and rethink how they were doing things. And so they've actually come back now with a new and improved model. So it's been a while. It's been about a year since they've been working on this new mode, which is called AI mode. And so what I'd like to do now is just kind of jump in and take a look at the interface with you so we can take a look. Is it going to be the future of search? I don't know. Like, it is in experiment mode right now, but I think it's important that Google is doing this because they've got a lot of competition from Anthropic, Perplexity. You've got Grok 3 now. You've got the research mode in OpenAI's ChatGPT. They're really good, but what we do have now is we have this rich ecosystem where Gemini is a large language model, is tethered into things like YouTube. You can ask it to summarize videos now. It's tied into Gmail. And I think it's really important that Google's reinventing search. And I think it's going to be interesting over the next few months to see how the testing goes on this new platform. And so let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at it now. So let's go ahead and click Try AI mode. And it opened up a new screen. And so this is the AI mode. You can see that at the top you've got AI mode is at the left hand side, that is bold, and then you've got all, which takes you to the regular Google search. So it looks like that's a secondary thing there. They're kind of introducing this at the front of the screen. And then you have your traditional images, videos, news. One thing that they have emphasized is that this new Google AI mode is going to be multimodal. So what that means is you can actually speak into a microphone and you can interact with it by voice. It's not replying back with voice, so it's not like the AI voice mode that I demonstrated. If you want to check it out and you haven't seen the Sesame AI voice mode, it's crazy good. So it's not talking back to you, but you can speak to it. So it's basically doing the translation of your voice, and it's converting that into a query, and then it's replying back. I don't think it has the ability yet, but they do plan to allow you to give it an image, so you could ask it questions about the images that you're providing to it, and it's going to be able to reply back as well. So I'm just going to, let me see here as I'm recording if I can click microphone, and I'm just going to say allow. Hey, I was just wondering if you know when daylight savings time starts in the United States. Okay, so daylight savings time in the United States begins on the second Sunday in March. In 2025, daylight saving time will commence on Sunday, March 9th at 2 a.m. local time. If I click on the microphone, oh, sorry. What I want to know is, okay, so I'm going to stop talking and just hit record or hit the mic. When is Easter this year? Okay, April 20th. It talks about related dates as well. So you can see I'm basically interacting with it just by asking it questions, but then it's also giving me links over here. And that's one of the nice things about this is it does provide links. If they had come out with this a few months ago, I probably would have been a little bit more impressed, but I've been using ChatGPT 4.0 with the deep research capabilities, and it's really good. I gave it some stuff to work on today, and like I went off and I worked on some stuff in another part of the house. I came back 10 minutes later and it had researched stuff so deeply. It was really impressive, and it had all these different sources and a summary. This is a little bit quicker here in terms of what it's doing, but it's basically just giving you links to websites. So it's better than AI overview because it's giving you more than just a quick synopsis at the top of the screen, but it is giving you links off to the side as well. So let me just go ahead and ask it some questions here. I'm just going to type in here instead. What are the latest news headlines? See what it comes back with. Okay, so it knows basically where I live, so it has pulled up the information about the general location, local news. So it's starting there first. That's interesting. And I live in the southeast. I live in Georgia, outside of Atlanta. So it's pulling up that information there. So it's got news. Then it's going into the national news. Um, and then at any point, I guess I could click on one of these links here, and then it gives me different sources off to the side. So I can click on this information and it actually pulls up the sources for the stories as well. Let me just ask it, what is the weather forecast for the Southeast United States for the next 3 days? Here's the weather forecast for Milton and the broader Southeast region. And so it's giving me high around 66 degrees Fahrenheit. On Saturday, it's going to be around 70 degrees. Not too shabby. We've had some cold weather here recently. Chance of showers. Then it's expanding out to the southeast. So I can use it for timely information. So those are kind of like current events here. If I go into complex queries, this is where things get interesting. So I could ask it more detailed questions, but let me just ask it something. I'm going to ask it, please provide a list of Stephen King books in the format of a table. In the first column, put the name of the book. In the second column, put the year the book was published. And this is where things get interesting, is because I'm going to say in the third column, put the year a movie was released based on the book, if applicable. Let's see if it can do that. So it's reading information, piecing the information together, and then, okay, see, this is where it gets cool, is because now if I wanted to find out like which Stephen King books were actually published as movies, I'm not verifying this for accuracy right now, so that's a whole thing, but that's going to be part of the testing. But just for the sake of this demo, I can see the list of the books, the year published, the year the movie was released as well. And so I've got a nice chronology of all of these things. And then let me just ask it, I want to see if it'll continue. Can you also rank these in order by the most favorable critical reviews? I don't know what it's going to do with that. Okay, so now it's gone out for Rotten Tomatoes, and it's thinking, okay, so that's really cool, right? Is because now I'm actually building a table dynamically. And before, think about this, if you just wanted to do this, a couple years ago with basic Google search, you'd have to go out probably to some website, you'd have to pull the names of the books, go out to Amazon, see what books were there, look up the publish date, then you'd have to go out to Internet Movie Database, you'd have to find which year the movies were released, and then you'd have to go out to, in this case, it went to Rotten Tomatoes, and it's actually done this in descending order. So yeah, so I've got 94% for Carrie, and then Stand By Me. So just as a dynamic, complex query, that this is really good. Now, I'm into music production too, so a lot of times you want to compare a couple different products. Maybe for yourself, you'd be looking at different phones, or if you're comparing different refrigerators to each other, you're maybe shopping around for different cars. And a lot of websites have that ability where you can actually say compare this product to that product. But what if And you may not know what this is, but there's a music company called Akai, and they've got different versions of these beat making devices, which are cool. So I'm going to ask it, okay, now for something new, please do a comparison of the Akai MPC X to the Akai MPC Key 61. Um, Let me know what the price difference is. Let's see when they were released and the types of reviews that each one of the products is receiving. Let's see what it can do with that. So usually I'd go out to like the Sweetwater website. That's one of my favorite websites to go. And yeah, you can see actually in the upper right hand corner, like I noticed that little S there, that's for the Sweetwater website. And then A is for Amazon, obviously. And then SOS, that's a Sound on Sound magazine. So like these are places that I probably would have gone to myself if I was going to go ahead and research these. But I can see now the feature, the unit itself, how much it costs, and I can see yep, it's actually citing the sources there. So it's probably pulling live prices right off of the website. It gives me the release date, and then it's giving me information, which for comparison purposes, this is really important. Like how much memory do they have? What's the storage capacity as well? And then the reviews, it's getting into providing the strengths, the weaknesses, and then giving me a summary. But if I want to, I can go over here to the side and I can actually click on one of these. It opens up another tab in my browser, and it's actually taking me right to the website. So that's great. I mean, I don't have to actually go in and click on all these links in a search engine. It's pulling it all up in real time here. So that's really cool. Let's just talk, let's give it one more. Let me just ask it about AI. I'm going to ask it here, what are the psychological implications, good and bad, and associated risks with AI? After providing this summary, give more information about the impact of voice AI on individuals and how humans might anthropomorphize anthropomorphize. I probably spelled that wrong. I can't even say it. AI more based on the quality of voice and how realistic it is compared to real human voices. This came up because of the Sesame AI review or demo that I gave. It's just really good, and the impact that it has on credibility when you're listening to it. Like AI is getting scary good. So let's just see what it comes up with here. So psychological implications of AI, good and bad. Positive psychological implications, reduced cognitive load. I don't know about you, but it's so much quicker to do things with AI. The busy work, you can take the load off. So it's talking about that. It's giving you links then to articles. It would be nice if you hovered over the paper clip there or the link, if it actually gave you the link so you could look. But you could just click on it and it'll open that up. Enhance creativity, personalized learning and support. Okay, so that's all good stuff. And then negative psychological implications, anxiety and fear, concerns about job loss, algorithmic bias, privacy, potential loss of control, social isolation, diminished critical thinking. Yeah, if AI does everything for us, do we even need to think? Algorithmic bias and discrimination. And so, yeah, I mean, you can do some pretty good research on this and, like provide an executive summary of the info you just provided that could be used in a research paper as an abstract. Let's just see what it does with that. Boom, there's your executive summary. Suitable for an abstract and a research paper on the psychological implications of AI. And here you go. Here's your verbose, very well written, I suppose, summary. This research explores the multifaceted psychological impact of AI, examining both positive and negative implications for human well-being. AI offers potential benefits, including reduced, okay, and on and on. And then can you also prepare a bibliography on the sources that you cited? Let's see what it does with that. Never done this before. So here are the top web results exploring this topic. Oh, see, so now it's remembering my conversation, all the sources that I cited. And let me just say, what I actually need is a table that cites sources only for the AI psychological components, not the other links that you provided. Here's a table citing sources. If it does this, that's really cool. Okay. Yeah, look at that. So instead of having to go over to the side there, click, 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 and go to these, now I've got a nice list of all of these, and I've got the links over here on the right-hand side. So that's really cool. All right, so what about planning and getting ready for things? Let me just ask it here as we get into complex concepts. Let me just ask it, how can I prepare my house to be safer if a bad snow slash ice storm is coming? Please provide a list of materials that I may need and safety supplies in case the power goes out. So here's a guide to help you prepare your home for a potential snow or ice storm. Preparing your home structure, insulate pipes, tells you what to do. There's a source. Seal drafts, caulk and weather ship around windows. Check your gutters and downspouts. Preparing for potential power outages, stock up on essentials. Alternate heating, and this goes on. Preparing for potential travel disruption. There's your materials checklist. So that, I mean, this is good, right? It just answered me. Is this different from what I'm doing with ChatGPT or Gemini? I think the main difference here is in this case, it's like it is pulling local resources for me, but then it's also going in here and providing me with links to websites where I could go out and I could read more detailed articles as well. We already did the voice search, so let me just do one more thing here, which is going to be, let's do a recipe. I remember many years ago, I was at a conference. I think it was a cybersecurity conference, and IBM presented on their Watson technology. And the main keynote for that, they had a chef come up on stage, and they were talking about how they could use Watson to go into the pantry of a person's kitchen and pull ingredients and then actually give it dishes that it could prepare recipes as well based on the ingredients available on hand. So I just want to see how this this AI mode deals with this here. So I'm going to let's see, please provide a recipe for or recipe which will utilize the ingredients that I have available. The ingredients are chicken thighs, we'll say boneless, white pepper, lemon pepper, let's see, spices, I'll say baked potatoes, or actually just potatoes, olive oil, and green beans. Please provide a couple of descriptions, then a summary of the ingredients and preparation technique. Let's see what it does. Okay, so here are the top websites. So right now it's just pointing me to websites. It is not possible to ask for a follow-up. Your next question will start a new search. So basically, it just gave me a list of ingredients there. So that's a little disappointing there. Let's say we had somebody, what if I wanted to impress somebody by preparing a meal for them? It should be home cooked. What are the options that you suggest? Please provide a version that uses meat, another that would be appropriate for a vegetarian, and another for a vegan. Let's just see what it does. Here are some impressive home cooked meal options categorized by dietary preference. Impressive meals to wow your guest. Meat-based option, marry me chicken with creamy polenta. I've never heard of that before. I don't know if it just came up with that name. Butternut squash risotto. That actually sounds really good. Toasted hazelnuts. I love hazelnuts. Vegan option. Spicy sesame tofu with broccoli and peanut sauce. Tips for impressing your guests. Set the ambiance. So it even gets into dim lighting, candles, and a nice playlist as well. So, all right, well, this is pretty cool. I think as far as the ability to upload files, I don't have that ability. I was playing around with it on my phone last night as well, and it didn't have the ability to do that. But this is kind of a first look at the AI mode of Google's new feature. It is available through the experiment. If you're a Gemini subscriber, you can go out and search on their Google Labs, ask to get onto the wait list, and then it only took me a few days, and then they put me off the wait list and gave me access to it. So I'd be curious to hear what you think of the future of this kind of search. Are you using ChatGPT? Are you using Perplexity? Are you using Grok 3 and all of the different search features that are available? And then what are the implications to industries, like especially with marketing, advertising, and web development? You think about things like search engine optimization and all of the different wizardry that's used to actually get search engine rankings up high. If we're using interfaces like this to interact without ads popping up on the screen here, then how are companies going to monetize this? Because that is a huge part of what we actually see every time we go out and look at the web, is the advertising behind it. I frankly like not having all of the ads here, but are they going to keep it like this, or at some point are they going to start to introduce ads? So if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care.